Couple 13-14 past here on the Common Man program. I'm Common He's Genevieve. John Gonzalez writes NBA for CBS Sports. He writes a piece that says Karl Anthony Towns finally got to shine in Game 1 of the NBA Finals and take on Victor Wembanyama. Cat was wired for sound, and they played him talking during a timeout with a pep talk. And as Gonzalez writes, generally the mic'd up footage is a bunch of useless anodyne pablum. Not this time. Towns had a message. He said, we got to keep playing defense. This will win us the game. Our offense will always catch up. It did in Game 1 against Cleveland. We'll be fine. I'm usually not a big believer in win one for the Gipper kind of a thing. You know, at the beginning of football games where you'll see everybody surrounding one player. The Drew Brees one's the best, where he'd end it with, who dat going to beat them Saints? And everybody go, nobody going to beat it. And you can see there's some of the guys that are just staring off into space like, we've heard this thing before. This doesn't do anything for us. But this is in-game strategy, and Big Meow stepped up and did what a leader does.
Yeah.
Towns' comments came off as cool and calm. He sounded confident, not just in the team, but in himself. He sounded like a leader. It was striking in a way. Cat has been a divisive player for much of his career. He's been called corny and cringe, annoying and zesty. For much of his career, he was known for complaining to the refs, which frustrated former teammates like Anthony Edwards, who just wanted him to, quote, stop bleeping fouling. Cat went to the Western Conference Finals with the Wolves, and then they traded him anyway. It was the best thing that ever happened to his career and his reputation. In New York, he's been transformed into the big Bodega, a man embraced by teammates and fans alike. It's hard to imagine the Minnesota version of Towns delivering a much-needed speech in Game 1 of the Finals, and even harder to imagine anyone listening. But it wasn't just talk. Towns' Game 1 performance was one of the best of his career at a time when his team needed it the most. He finished with 18 points, 12 boards, 4 assists, along with several offensive boards in critical moments, more than one of which he secured by beating Wemby to the ball with extra effort. That allowed the Knicks to be +9 in second-chance points for the game. That was crucial to New York clawing its way back from a 14-point deficit in the fourth quarter. But more than anything, the most impressive and important contribution from Towns was his defense against Wembanyama. How did Gobert fare in that, Mr.?
Not well.
Not well at all.
No.
That is obviously and literally no small task. The Oklahoma City Thunder had no answer for Wemby, up to, including and especially the guy who finished second in Defensive Player of the Year voting behind him, Chet Holmgren, wanted no part of Wembanyama. Towns, by contrast, seemed to relish the assignment. Unlike Holmgren, Towns is not known for his defense. He's been considerably better at the end this season, but traditionally he's no one's idea of an all-defensive team big. But he's also, unlike Holmgren, in two important ways: stronger, thicker, willing to do everything he could to make Wembanyama work. Towns and the Knicks seem to understand what the Thunder struggled to grasp: being physical with Wembanyama and keeping away from the rim, or at least making it difficult for him to touch the paint, is paramount. They were able to do that. Now, can they do it again remains to be seen. But Cat was willing to take that assignment. Gobert couldn't do it. I don't think Randall was
Julius
able
Randle
to
couldn't do it.
No. But, you know, again, and I had somebody go, boy, your hindsight is second to none. I said it the day they traded him, I didn't like the trade.
Well, the other part, too, about Gobert is not only could Gobert not handle Victor Wembanyama defensively, he also wasn't good enough offensively to put any pressure on Wembanyama.
Right.
Right? Like, part of it is you want to play physical with him and try to wear him down a little bit so that he's not as effective as the offensive end. And, like, Gobert's not going to draw him out of the paint. Right? Like, Gobert can't stand at the three-point line and force Victor Wembanyama to come out and have to guard him out there.
That is correct. And again, you know, I'm getting, there are many negatives out there. The people that say we had no choice, they're still down on. I think what happens too is when you part ways with someone and you've seen some success, and we went back to the Western Conference Finals without him, right?
Yep.
Of course, this time without him, we only got to the semifinals. Since Bodega Cats left, we've been now backtracking, just for those keeping score at home. And I think it goes back to what I said earlier, Tenneby. It happened with Darnold. When the Wolves let Darnold walk, or the Vikings let Darnold walk on these very airwaves on this program, I said, why are they doing that? You work this is what every team is searching for. It's like the Holy Grail. You're searching for a franchise quarterback. We had him in the building, and we let him walk because we thought we could do better. Flash in the pan. Look what he did in the playoffs. Even though the head coach admitted after the loss to the Rams against Detroit, he had a bad case of the jitters. It happens. And Detroit was pretty good defensively, too. But he made a lot of bad throws. That was squarely, and that gave the Vikings a chance to go from the 1 seed to the 5 seed. Against the Rams, as soon as the game was over, 20 minutes after, the head coach didn't blame the quarterback. He blamed the offensive line. But we went another direction, and fans didn't want to. They wanted, when it's your favorite team, you don't want to believe you made the wrong decisions. You don't want to believe you've made the wrong draft picks, that you've hired the wrong coach, the wrong general manager, that you've signed the wrong free agents. You don't want to believe that. And forever, people wanted to say, well, look at Darnold. Look what he did. Darnold's not any good. Quarterback whisperer, he can take anybody. And, well, we've seen what did quarterback whisperer do with McCarthy? Nothing. Now, I'm not blaming, that's not on KOC completely. You're supposed to coach him up, but I think maybe we're finding out McCarthy has a pretty long learning curve if he's learning anything at all, right? But now I think maybe there's still people out there that think we needed to part ways with Darnold, And I know they offered him, but they didn't say, we want you, Sam Darnold. We're going to give you a 3-year, 5-year deal. I'll give you a 1-year deal. And they kind of lowballed him. And he said, well, I can make more elsewhere. So he left. And so anytime you part ways with people, you want to feel like, well, no, we've made the right decision because you want your team to win the whole thing. You like parades. Do you like parades, Cinnabee? I like parades. It's like for instance, when they traded for Parisian Suit or signed, however, we just signed him, right?
Signed him as free agents.
We wanted to believe that was going to turn us into the Skatriots, and that's all fine and good. And for a while, it looked good, but then it didn't pay off. You can still say, at the time, knowing all the information we have and where the franchise had been, where it was going, and where it was at, that was the right move to make. You can even say that about Big Meow. You can say where we were at the time because of the second apron and the salary. There are other ways to move that money around. I mean, we read the quotes from Garnett. Garnett was completely against the deal. Now, Garnett's not the final word, but we embrace him here. We want him to be part of the team. We can't wait for him to come back and they hoist did they do that celebration already? Did that happen this year or is it happening next year? We're going to hoist his jersey. He's going to into the rafters.
Next year.
He's going to become an ambassador for the Minnesota Timberwolves. We love him. Well, and I think he kind of knows hoops.
Yeah.
And he thinks they made the wrong mistake. Or the wrong trade. He thinks they made a mistake. So anyway.
He's looking to be accurate at this point.
Yeah. By
the way, New York Knicks, I saw this tweet from Adam Scheffler. You know the last time they lost a game, what the date was?
April
23rd, the same night as the first night of the NFL draft.
It's the last time they lost a game?
So the third best day in sports was the last time they lost a game.
And the other night was, if you like NBA, like you just talked about, if you like NHL playoff hockey, the Stanley Cup Finals have been nothing but high drama.
They've been great, yeah.
Fast-paced, hard-hitting, 110% effort, close games, too. I mean, we've had one go to overtime, and the other was a one-goal game, right? And then, the Spurs look like they had the Knicks right where they wanted them. They had a 14-point lead, fourth quarter, or second half. I think it was maybe into the fourth quarter, I don't recall. But they came back, and Brunson was brilliant. He was. I mean, he scored almost at will. He was determined to get to the basket or make a three-pointer come heck or high water. Here's one that says, you just read in the article, the Minnesota version of Caddy's not the same player now as he was when he was here. Well, whose fault is that? Partly his, but could it also be the organization? Who's coaching him? Who's inspiring him? How about his teammates? Do you remember we have moody teammates on this team that if they're not getting their ball, if they're not getting their points, they're not getting their touches, or they're moody. That's what they said about it, and nobody on the team denied it. We're a moody bunch. Okay. Well, then I don't know. Is the organization still dysfunctional? I know we got to a couple of Western Conference Finals and it was fun. We got killed in those Western Conference Finals. And one of them, we got killed without Big Meow. And we didn't even get out of the semifinals without Big Meow. So, again, and it's water under the bridge. And look, you can think it was the best move to make, and you know what? That's fine. It probably sounds like I'm trying to change your mind, but I'm really not. If that's the way you feel, that was the best trade, and that bodes well for us in the future, that's great. But you also got to kind of read your players and know where they've been and know where they're at and where they're going. And yeah, that story did say the Minnesota version of Bodega Cat was different, but something changed. A lot of it, you got to pin on him. But I think maybe the organization maybe approached it a different way. They had a different system. Just, we'll see. Well, tonight should be interesting. I'm looking forward to tonight's game. Let's take a break, come back. Tenby, we're doing it once a show now, but it's a whopper for the cash contest, a big chunk of change, right?
Yeah, the fan has your chance to win $2,500. Just enter the keyword travel at KFAN.com now. That keyword is travel. Enter now at KFAN.com.
Couple 13-14 pastime commons, East Tennessee. It's interesting how the lack of success or maybe a valley in your career or a slump can change your attitude. Headline, Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Sports is your whole life, just sports. This is from Bobby Nightingale. He's the beat writer for the Twins for the Fish Wrap. Royce Lewis preparing for position change as Twins shuffle infield. Quote, whatever I can do. Royce Lewis, who has 8 homers in 12 games since his demotion, started a St. Paul Saints game at second base on Wednesday, and he made his first ever start at first base on Thursday. Lewis had a meeting with Twins staff members on Tuesday about a position change. They emphasized the door isn't shut on Lewis playing third base, but they needed to create more flexibility with their infield. Lewis said Thursday, whatever I can do, I'll try my best. It was nice to know that they were like, offensively, you've done everything. You made the changes surprisingly quicker than we thought. They're ready offensively now. It's just about making myself more versatile for Derek and his lineup. Brooks Lee has already accepted his move to third base. Shortstop, Nightingale writes, will likely remain fluid until prospect Kalen Culpepper is called up as an everyday starter. Cody Clemens is by far the best defensive option at first base, but the Twins are comfortable playing him at all 3 outfield positions. Lewis says, the first base glove is the weirdest thing. I put it on my hand and I'm like, this is not normal, man. Even an outfield glove, it feels like it's 2 times bigger than that. Just getting used to it, I think uncomfortable is okay. It's not like it's bad, but I'm trying my best to get up there. Second base felt unbelievable. I'm really excited about the opportunity. I could see a long-term place or home there, as well as third. It's fun to have both in the tool bag. And if you remember when they first suggested him moving, he said, I'm a third baseman. That's who I am. It's like, well, that's who you thought you were. You can think you're a third baseman, but at least now he's realizing that, sometimes you're not what you think you are, right? And maybe he could play third base. The Twins hit says right here that they're not completely ruling out third base, but and I think he's a good fielder. I don't know. I haven't studied his mechanics and how he plays third base, but there's a reason why the Twins are considering moving him, because it might not even be also much because he's not a good third baseman, but other guys might not be good at second or short or where, and they need to be moved because their bats need to be in there. And sometimes you just have to shuffle guys around and put them at different positions. So
the move to second seems a little odd, right? Like third base clearly is a much different position than second base. You need a lot more range at second base. And I don't think he's had the greatest range, so that seems odd. But first base, clearly, Most players can play first base.
Yeah,
dig a ball out of the dirt occasionally.
Yeah, that's what you have to do is dig a ball.
I mean, his numbers in St. Paul right now are astronomical.
Yes. What did we just said was 8 homers in 12 games? I mean, that's
10 homers.
10 homers. That's Ruthian-like.
He's hitting 357. His OPS right now is 1.393, which is astronomical. So hopefully that'll translate when he gets back up here.
Another Twins-related note. Excuse computer. Twins pitcher Bailey Ober blames slick baseballs on rainy day in Boston for arm injury. But when you dig deeper into the story, it might not be an excuse. It might be the reason it happened. Again, this is Bobby Nightingale. It says, Bailey Ober was put on the 15-day injured list Sunday, one day after a 4 2/3 inning start in Pittsburgh, but he believes his arm injury stems from baseballs he used during a May 24 outing at Fenway Park. The Twins right-hander, diagnosed with a mild right flexor strain, described the quality of baseballs used during a start in Boston as the worst in his 6-year career. The problem, he said, was the slickness of the baseballs, like they were new out of the packaging. MLB investigated the baseballs used in the May 24 game and found they were consistent with the league standards, according to a person familiar with the situation, and told the Fish Wrap Factory West Side. Ober said, I haven't dealt with poorly rubbed up baseballs to that extent ever. The only way to be able to throw slick baseballs is to grip them harder so you can execute your pitches. If not, you're not going to know where the ball is going, especially with breaking pitches. Major League, now I didn't know this, Tenneby. Major League Baseball requires all new baseballs to be rubbed with Lena Blackburn baseball rubbing mud. Now, I use those when I used to elevate my scrotum, that same product. Isn't that amazing? Major League Baseball requires all new baseballs to be rubbed with Lena Blackburn baseball rubbing mud before games, a task typically completed by a member of the home clubhouse staff. The home clubhouse staff. Was that game in Boston?
I believe so.
Red Sox starter Sonny Gray, who gave up 6 hits and 2 walks across 4 innings, blasted the conditions when he spoke to reporters after the game. So it wasn't just over. At first, when you hear a pitcher say that, you're saying, oh, come on. Here's what, according to the Boston Globe, here's what Gray said. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Absolutely brutal. Sounds like he's describing a flop, sweat, and tear show. It is what it is. It was brutal for everyone. Ober said, everyone that came in after me, the relievers, they all said the same thing. When I was in the clubhouse, they all came in and said, man, those balls sucked. I talked to Sonny and Danny, is it Colombe? He used to play for us, right?
Yeah.
Colombo? Right after the game, and they both said the same thing. One of the official duties for umpires as part of the league rule book is to inspect the baseballs, ensure they are regulation baseballs, and that they were properly rubbed so that the gloss is removed. The umpire shall be the sole judge of the fitness of the balls to be used in the game. Pitching under a steady rain, May 24 in Boston, Ober said he immediately noticed how white the baseball looked when he took the mound. The rubbing mud should discolor the ball. Ober said, I threw my warm-up pitches and I immediately asked for a new one. I got that one back, and it was the same thing. Every ball that I got after that was the same thing. I talked to the umpires at some point during the game when they were fixing the mound. I said, what do we got with these new baseballs? And then he said the plate umpire, who was Will Little, basically just said, you can keep throwing them out if you want. I said, well, every single one is the same way. I'm not going to get a better ball. He didn't have anything else really to say after that. Ober didn't have any other solutions. He said he could use a foreign substance, but you get suspended if you do that. And he's expected to miss a month of his, the next month of the season. And so, you know, if that is indeed, now here's a officiating guy who said, he says, common, when I went to umpire school, I flunked. No, when I went to umpire school, they actually had sessions on how to properly rub up baseballs before the game. I had no idea that. Now, we know about the Deflategate controversy, right? You know, apparently each team gets to use its own football, right? And the allegations were that Brady didn't want the ball, the pounds per square inch, the PSI. He wanted it a tad softer.
And what city did Deflategate take place in?
Boston, I think.
Oh,
isn't that funny?
Interesting.
Isn't that 2 places? Or just outside of Boston.
Celtics do something weird with their basketballs, too?
Isn't that funny? That parquet floor. Remember there was always dead spots in that parquet floor?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny?
Bunch of cheaters.
Celtics knew where those dead spots were. And, of course, the opposition didn't. And isn't it like also the K balls? They're all different too, and I don't know. I don't know how that works, but it does sound like a reason rather than an excuse. When I first saw the headline, I thought, "Come on!" And at first, I thought he was using that as an excuse for his bad outing, but he says that's how I was injured.
I don't understand. Like Major League Baseball over the years, they've always had weird things going on with their baseballs that they're constantly trying to tinker with them. Obviously, we had the year with the Bomba Squad where clearly something was up with the baseballs that year. They keep changing them from year to year. Why can't we be consistent with it? And how does the batch of the balls in this game in Boston differ than the rest of the balls? It just should not happen.
Well, then I think what happened is somebody did not do their assignment was to the clubhouse kid was supposed to take the Lena Blackburn mud oil or whatever. And they didn't rub the balls up. They just didn't. They didn't do what they were supposed to do, is what it sounded. That would be my accusation. I'm just going to throw it out there. He didn't get it done.
Maybe he was ordered. And did the Boston pitchers have to pitch with these same balls?
Yeah. We're listening, just waiting for everybody to talk. But Sonny Gray said the same thing.
Okay.
And then Over said he talked to a couple of the Sox pitchers, including Colombe, and he said the same thing. Let's take a break, come back. One more segment to go. It's the Victory Formation segment. That's next here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
The Common Man.
People don't like him because he's not cool and all that jazz.
Wow.
Couple 13-14 past Common Man program. Do you have the sound of Scotty Scheffler? Were you able to get that or not?
Yeah. Let me just go to your email.
Okay, so this kind of lit up the golf world tonight. It was controversial. Scotty Scheffler, world number 1, is playing first round yesterday at the Memorial in Dublin, and I'm with you. I don't know why they're playing it in Ireland. They should have had that tournament right before the Open Championship. But anyway, Scheffler hits it in the water, gust of wind, and you can tell he's not too happy with his caddy. I can't think of his caddy's name. Famous caddy. Ted Scott. I think it's Ted Scott. So I think the audio, you can hear it pretty well. And here's what happened yesterday.
Trackman Tracing is presented in partnership with Royce.
Oh, he turned this over.
Yeah, gotta go.
Oh, no. Not the time to be going after a flag stick. Not that he meant to, but...
I never thought that I was the one. I don't know what you did.
I don't know what you did.
I can't hear a word you're saying.
I guess you can't hear us.
Now I'm in the water. Because it came in out of the right. Absolutely flushed the 7-iron, and we get the wind wrong, and I'm in the water. I don't think you understand how frustrating that is. Like, that was a good shot. It really was. Flushed it, like the line. Went hurting out of the right.
Really? See, that is Scotty Scheffler. Listen, he's human too. He's allowed to have a range of emotions just like the rest of us.
I think that's good.
Yeah,
He does keep going.
Does he?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
You don't understand what I meant to do. I don't understand. I really don't. I mean, it was 5 yards short of the green, flush because it's into off the right. Like, there's no way it could curve that much if the wind is helping us. It's so frustrating. Just get this stuff wrong. Hitting good shots and dropping from hazards. We cannot get the wind wrong.
It's frustrating to hit great shots like that. Flush it. I think the ball can't do that. We got to get the wind right. You know, he didn't say we, but what he meant was the caddy blew it. And it's like, and I get it. It's you're frustrated and your caddy, you work hand in hand, but you can't feel the wind. You don't have two eyes. You can't throw up some grass and go, wind's coming left to right. Do you think if he would have hit that ball and it would have landed on the green close to the pin, he would have said, hey, great job on the wind.
You don't hear that as much.
No, you don't.
Great read.
Great read on the wind, man. What a terrific job. I can't thank you enough. As a matter of fact, it was even better than this. Your read of the wind was better than my swing. You'll never hear that from a PGA pro. Scotty gets a little, and we do enjoy watching him play, and he's going to be out at the 3M Open. He's selling a lot of tickets. But he can get, these pin guy, Paul Peterson, tells me he was a tour rep for a long time. You know what he says? Golfers don't hit bad golf shots. Bad golf clubs hit bad golf shots. That's what the golfers think. They never think they make a mistake. They never make a mistake. They have a perfect swing every time. It's always a bad break. Oh, woe is me.
Even though just the tiniest thing can throw you off your golf swing. Well,
and Tinneby, you played enough with me. I don't spend a lot of time blaming anybody but myself. I just go, you're terrible. What is wrong with you? That's what I've been saying. I'm playing today, and I'm thinking, this has been for a long time. I'm looking at words. I said, there was a time I was a 4 handicap. There was a time that I wasn't Scotty Scheffler, but I could hit good quality golf shots over and over and over again. Yeah, you get some bad ones too. Now I can't even make contact with the. It's amazing if I hit one on the face, even just on the face once in a round of golf. Now, I can't figure out. That's why I'm going to see Master Professional. But yeah, he kind of called out the cat, and I don't think I heard the caddy say a thing other than I think what Ted Scott once said something like when he said I flushed it. I've hit a lot of good shots today, and I think Ted said. You have. You did.
He knows where his bread is buttered.
Right. But I'm also thinking, he's thinking to himself, really? That's my fault? You're calling me out on that? But,
Well, one, a guy who gets to Scotty Scheffler's level, you should be able to read wind on your own.
Well, yes,
I mean, like, it shouldn't just be.
Exactly.
It's not like you've had a caddy your entire life teaching you. So, like, even when a caddy tells you, hey, hit the ball here, like, don't you ultimately have the club in your hands and go, well, the wind, I think, is, like, let's have a conversation about this. I think the wind's going this way. Yeah. And then come to an agreement. You don't just blindly listen to the caddy every time, do you?
I wouldn't think. And, yeah, that's why I said he can throw grass up in the air and look at it. I mean, it's like,
Jordan Spieth and his caddy are like infamous for always having like these long conversations while Jordan's like disagreeing with them.
Here, now this isn't as serious as getting a second opinion from a doctor, but generally speaking, if you go to a doctor, you have a malady, you go see it. If you're not real happy with that, you go get a second opinion. Because it happened to me. I had eczema on the fingertips on my right hand. The first dermatologist prescribed a steroid cream. Didn't work. Went to another dermatologist. You know what he said? Well, that's the wrong stuff. You don't have to live like that. Prescribed a different kind of beta-methasone, I think it's called. It's gone. He said, if it comes back, use as necessary. It came back a little bit. I put a little more on. It's gone again. So.
Just had that happen with my ear within the last week.
A Q-tip stuck in it again?
No.
Oh.
I've just been having ear pain for a long time and went into urgent care and they're like, oh, there's a little irritation, but just do some ibuprofen.
Yeah.
And 2 days later, it was worse. I'm like, no, I wasn't satisfied with that answer.
Exactly.
I don't think that's what it is.
And it's in most everything, you want to talk things over and you have the final decision. This one says, you can't hit a decent shot because you're getting old, just like the rest of us. It has nothing to do with age. If I just shot a 76 the other day. Now, full disclosure, remember, Tenby, I played all gold tees, save for the first hole. I played white, which is really no different than gold's 10 yards longer, 20 yards longer. So it was to my disadvantage. I said I wanted to try senior tees. I hit a lot of good shots. I also hit a lot of bad ones. And it's like, I can't hit the ball as far because of age, but it's, obviously you don't play golf if you think it's all age. I mean, age eventually, Father Time will catch up with you when you get really old and you just can't swing the club anymore, but that's no excuse to hit bad shots. Trust me, I'll get fixed today. The master professional, Craig Warren, will get me on track. Craig is so good, there have been times I'll show up and I'll go, so hit a couple of iron shots for me and go, what do you want me to hit? Whatever you want. So I'll grab an 8-iron and I'll just flush 8-iron after 8. He'll go, and I'll tell him, I go, Craig, that's not what's been going on. He'll go, well, I don't know what to tell you, but I can't fix something that isn't broke.
Yeah.
Sometimes just being in the presence of master professional will do it. I've called him on the phone playing golf. 4th hole, Troy Byrne. Craig, Common, what's up? Everything's doing this. What am I doing? Try this. Thanks, Craig. Set the phone down. Flush it. Craig, appreciate it. Thanks much. On the phone. He knows my swing well enough. He can fix me over the phone. The best advice he ever gave me was take 2 weeks off and quit, but I couldn't do that. So I kept playing. This one says we're all having ear pain noon to 3 every day.
Where do you think I got the symptoms from?
Yeah. I can relate to Scotty Scheffler. It's very similar when you write a brilliant joke and Common butchers the delivery. Maury knows the feeling too. All right, Larry Mondello guy. Okay, Larry Mondello guy. It's obvious.
By the way, you should have butchered that email when you were reading it.
I should have.
That should have been the joke.
It's obvious what they did to the parquet floor in Boston. They rubbed margarine on it. It's right there in the name. They call it parquet floors. Who do you think sent that one in?
Maury Amsterdam guy.
You'll love this. Larry Mandela guy says, channeling my inner Maury Amsterdam guy. Brilliant. So he came up with a joke, and then he took a cheap shot at Maury Amsterdam guy at the same time. Now that's double duty. That's a double header.
It would be nice if we could cut down. If you could it's just kind of like AI. If you can figure out how to write jokes like Maury Amsterdam, then we don't need Maury Amsterdam to write jokes anymore.
That's a very good idea. Another Fish Wrap Factory West Side story. This is good news, we hope. At least it's good news as we speak. Headline: Vikings left tackle Christian Darrisaw says knee feels great in Otis. Vikings starting left tackle Christian Darrisaw said his left knee feels great this spring after he had a second straight season cut short because of the effects of the injury. Here's what he told the Fish Wrap Factory West Side yesterday. Best it's felt in 2 years. I'm trending in the right direction. Full motion. Everything feels great. Story goes on to read Darrisaw was entering a 6th season with the Purple after being drafted in the first round in 2021. Wore a leg sleeve but no brace during Thursday's OTA practice. He participated in everything from O-line drills to 7-on-7. O'Connell said the team had planned on Darrisaw being available in this part of the NFL calendar and that he's been participating pretty much in totality. O'Connell said Christian's had a great spring. We're being smart with him, but at the same time, we're making sure that he's part of this collective O-line group, Elevation. Let me read that again. We're making sure that he's part of the collective O-line group Elevation that's happening. That group is a bit high standard for themselves. Christian has a very high standard for himself. It's one of the reasons why we're so excited to have him back and feeling healthy, feeling good. Now we just need to continue to progress that way in a way that allows him to feel great starting the season. last year, he was, he was injured and missed. Refresh me of his timeline, because last year he was back after the surgery, but he still wasn't playing full time, right?
He'd pull himself from games.
Yeah, he'd pull himself from games.
He was like a part-time player there for multiple weeks.
And I think there were those that criticized him. And I understand that, because of all the sports tend to be, hockey's probably right there with it. You're supposed to play hurt. That's just the way it is. You eat some dirt, you rub some Robitussin on it, because guess what? We need you. Team needs you. Fans need you. The league needs you. The world needs you. And it's like, but if you're the player and you're going, I messed up my knee real bad. I mean, I had to have interior, anterior, and exterior cruciate ligament surgery. That's the worst. Not just anterior, interior, but exterior. And it's like, well, so if I rush myself back, I'm jeopardizing myself, because I will. And so if I don't feel like I'm ready, sorry, and I was on his side on that. And if you look back at last year, had he played all those games, would it have made that much of a difference in their season? I don't know. Tennessee, they won their last 5 games. They were on a roll. Well, we're one punt return from getting to the big game. But I would rather, it's the old, what's that, spite your nose? No, that's not the saying. There's an old saying in Tennessee about valor. Discretion's the better part of valor. Because we need you, and everybody will look up and you go, what a warrior. Look what he did. Played with a broken leg. His jugular vein got ripped open, and he just had to put a tourniquet on it. He's going to lose his head, but man, did he ever play well for us. He helped us win. Oh, that's all fine and good in those Rudy kind of stories, but I'm better, because Tennessee, other than quarterback, what's the most important position in football? Left tackle, the guy that protects the blind side of a right-handed quarterback, right? So you need him healthy, and I'd rather that. So this, as we speak today, is a good sign. He says his knee feels great, better than it has in 2 years. Now, if the season gets going in week 2, he's pulling himself out in the second half. That'll be that will leave us scratching our heads a little.
Yeah, see, I was not a fan of how that transpired last year.
Yeah,
because to me, it's, if you're too hurt to play, then don't play. He was literally playing halves of games, or he'd play a series and then take out a series, and you'd have him for a good chunk of the game, then he'd pull himself in the fourth quarter. Like, if you've been cleared to play and you're healthy, then go play. If you're not healthy enough to play, then you should not even be, like, you're putting the team in a bind every week when they don't know whether they're going to have you. When they're setting up their 53-man roster, and getting their depth accordingly, they don't know what they have in you. Yeah. So if it was one of those where you don't feel comfortable with your injury, fine, I have no problem, then sit out.
You could make that argument, I guess.
But once you decide to play in the game, and you've been cleared by doctors to play in the game, I don't like just pulling yourself on your teammates.
Yeah. You could make that argument. And I understand it. I still think, And it
wasn't like a one-time thing. This happened
right.
most of the season.
This one says, if you're on a snap count, that's fine, but you got to be out there in the fourth quarter in a potential game-winning drive. He wasn't last year. That's true. That is true.
It was weird. Like, I felt like the whole thing was like underreported, and people weren't really asking the coach like how he truly felt about it. I always assumed maybe there was, I don't know, maybe some more anger behind the scenes than what we're even being. I can't imagine coaches would be happy with how that was transpiring.
Yeah, probably not. But I think part of that too is that culture of football. Then what the team needed to do then, and said, unless you're ready to play the whole game, we're not going to start you. They could have made that decision on their own, but they allowed him to play. They allowed him to play his game the way he wanted to play it.
But like I said, the word was, it's one thing if you're putting a guy on a pitch count, right? Your doctor's like, hey, let's only get him X amount of snaps. That did not seem to be the case here. It seemed that he was taking himself out of games, correct. Which then puts the coaching staff and his teammates in a tough spot. But
then, like I say, then the coaching staff would say, we're not going to start you until you think you're 100%. And if that's a year, that's...
I don't disagree with that.
Because the other thing is... who is really out to protect the player other than the player himself? Because let's face it, we know the franchise wants what's best for him. But guess what? We churn him in and churn him out. When we're done with Darrisaw, let's say Darrisaw had a career injury. Too bad. Next man up.
Yeah.
So it's like there but anyway, this is good news. Hopefully he remains healthy, wealthy, and wise, and provides a full season. Yeah, they need him. Yeah, they need him. And then we like our left guard, right? Is that Jonah? We like him, right? He was pretty good last year.
Donovan Jackson.
Or Donovan Jackson. Who do I get? Why do I want to call him Jonah Jackson?
I don't know.
Donovan Jackson. And then we're going with Brandell at center, right?
That's what it seems like.
And then O'Neal, of course, and remind me.
Fries, so they got in free agency. They did draft a left tackle this year.
They did. You're right.
Out of Northwestern, so
yeah, we'll see.
Because I do think if Darrisaw has another injury-riddled season, or maybe some of the lack of commitment pops up again, then you do have to start looking elsewhere. I think this is kind of the final straw.
Yeah.
But, the best out of Christian Darrisaw is Pro Bowl level left tackle. So there is a high ceiling there.
What you doing this weekend? Anything special? What do you got for family plans?
No. We're gonna go to get some ice cream today because it's the last day of school for all three of my kids.
Oh, sweet!
So we're gonna reward them with some ice cream.
Where at? Cold Stone?
I think
DQ?
we have a nearby place called Big Dipper, but I also mentioned DQ, and they want to go to DQ just so they can get dinner there as well. They want to have dinner there.
How about outside the Taste Freeze? You ever been to a Taste Freeze?
No.
John Mellencamp has. Jack and Diane. I've got Golf Day Minnesota.
I'll be playing golf tomorrow.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, first time in Minnesota this year. I'll be playing at Loggers Trail.
For Golf Day Minnesota.
Yeah.
I like Loggers Trail. I'd like to have played. What time are you teeing off?
Sunday, it's all baseball and summer hockey begins. Okay. So lots of activities on Sunday.
I have Golf Day Minnesota tomorrow, broadcasting live from the Meadows at Mystic Lake from 10 until noon. Play golf there prior to that. And then I think I'll play Sunday morning.
Lucky.
Thanks. And then
every day for you is Golf Day Minnesota.
Every day is Golf Day Minnesota. It is every day is Golf Day Minnesota. And then I did some various yard work. I took advantage of the great deal they were providing at Lotto Equipment, half-price mower. I think I didn't, and so I have a half-price mower, and I'm gonna break it in tomorrow. New Toro. I'm excited about it. So. Oh, someone said Jonah Jackson is a kitty guard. I knew I'd heard the name. I knew there was a Jonah Jackson somewhere.
Well, can we get him too?
Jonah this, Jackson that, whoever it might be. Received this text message that says, have a great weekend, me boy. Thank you. And you know what? I say the same to you and all the listeners. Tennessee, thanks for having me.
Hey, great job.
You as well. We really did enjoy our visit with you today. Let's do this. Let's, Someone just said KOC told PA on Tuesday interview last year that Darrisaw had the freedom to pull himself if he went the knee was swollen and there was